Hi, Charlie.
How's everybody doing on Friday?
Good. Good. How are you?
Good. So I'm Charley Bejna, and you guys are aware of our 2018 Iditarod, which will be taking place almost a week from now. So things are in full preparation here. We're making our last final training runs before the Sunday restart in Willow, and we'll be running the southern route, and that is the first time we've run that since 2013. So the trail looks really good, and we got a lot of snow here yesterday. We got around 8 to 9 inches. So yesterday was a kennel dig out day and clean up everything. So, and I'm going to be, I'll give a quick pan to the kennel where you guys can see where all the dogs are, and then I'll be.
He'll come back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which one's that?
Which one is who?
The dog that you just.
Oh, this one is. This one here is Kodiak, or I mean Yukon.
Oh, I knew it.
Maple, say hi, Maple. So I'll come over here by Brown, and then we can.
Yay, Brown!
I'm gonna try to hold this as far as I can. She's gonna be my come here, Brown. She's gonna be my main leader for Iditarod this year, and she has been pretty much my main leader for quite some time. So we're ready to go. We gotta have our little pep talk before the race and everything, and I think we're gonna be pretty focused this year. So
Good. We're trying to be focused here. We've had a little bit of a lapse in that in our focusing class, so we're working on getting focused too, Charlie. Thanks.
oh, okay, it happens.
Yes. Okay, well, we do have a series of questions for you, if that's okay. I didn't know if you wanted to,
Sure.
Are you finished kind of with your entry, or did you have other things you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think I'm good, and students can ask away whatever questions they have. I don't want to talk about things after you guys already or like know it or you guys have studied or whatnot, but I'm definitely open to whatever questions you have for me.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll just kind of go ahead. I know you don't know the students' names, so I'll call on their names with the questions that they have for you, and we'll get started.
Okay,
Right,
sounds
okay.
great.
All right, Emmy, go ahead. And if you want to, you can come up. The microphone's on that table if you want to come a little bit closer to the microphone. Are you hearing us okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay, how do you use measurement in sled dog racing?
Good question. I use measurement. I guess it all starts out when we send our drop bags out. We have to make sure that we send out X amount of pounds per checkpoint. So when I cut up all our meat and everything, I cut it in certain kind of sizes, and then I weigh everything. So I weigh everything that pretty much goes into my drop bag, so I know that our drop bags are not over 50 pounds. We can't send over 50 and pretty much calculate, all our meat. Another way I use measurement is, which is really important, is out on the trail is when we have like long training runs. If we have like an 80-mile training run, I like to rest them like halfway. So like 40 miles we would go, but I usually start looking anywhere between 35 miles, and then I start looking for a place to camp out. And also is we calculate like hours. Like if it's taking us a very long time, we might have to camp earlier than that. So, and I always carry a GPS on me, so that kind of helps us out as far as telling us like how far we have gone, how far we need to go to the next checkpoint. So that's it. It's kind of taken a learning curve for me because I'm not really good at math, but this has kind of really helped me out a lot.
We can help you with that, Charlie.
Stuff like that. And then like our booties we send out, I have to pretty much make sure that we have enough dog booties for all the dogs. So I calculate, like I usually send out like 24 sets, which is a little bit of a more than I use, but it's good to always have more than less. So I hope that helps out everybody on their question.
Okay. Sure does. Okay, Sarah?
Are there any other ways you use math in the Iditarod, and if so, how?
I would say our sled weight also, I would. We don't want to have too light of a sled and we don't want to have too heavy because then the dogs are working harder. But I want to make sure that we have to carry X amount of pounds per dog. So if I have 16 dogs, I believe the rules, they change a little, but I think we got to have like 3 pounds of food per dog. So then I would calculate that as far as like food that we have to have. Water also. I usually don't carry water with me, but like out on the trail, we have to, I have to figure out like now I'm feeding a whole kennel of dogs, so I have to kind of transition over to just feeding 16 dogs on the trail. So usually what I do is I'll boil like maybe 5 gallons of water or maybe 6 gallons. So I guess that's another way. I guess there's a lot of ways that we use math out on the trail.
Okay. What other questions, Lila?
Hey, it's Lila, the other diabetic, and I was wondering how you handle your lows and getting insulin while you're on the trail.
Oh, good question, Lila. I try to test myself as much as I can, and it's very difficult because when it's really cold out, I'm not sure if you've dealt with that, but when it is like cold out, not only does the meter not work, but like the little test strips, they're kind of like hard because they kind of freeze up. So I keep everything. I wear like about 6 different layers, so I usually keep that in my second layer. I don't keep it too close to my body because if that insulin gets too, it could go bad, but I kind of keep it in between layers. And I usually try to test myself always at a checkpoint because I could go inside, it's warmer out, and it's kind of safer for me and the dogs because out on the chest because you got 16 dogs that want to run and you don't want to drop anything. And when it's really cold, that insulin pump could kind of freeze pretty quick if it's really cold. So it's definitely a struggle for me out there at times, but I stay positive. I don't let pretty much anything like deter me from doing well. I carry a lot of sugar out there on the trail, a lot of jelly beans because I feel that the jelly beans seem to raise your blood sugar a lot better than any other food. So that's and it's easy to eat when it's like 20 or 30 below outside. So I packed a lot of jelly beans out on the trail. So that and Reese's peanut butter cups and a lot of protein and some.
You won them over with the Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yep. Those are always good no matter if it's 100 degrees outside or 50 below. They're always good when they're frozen. So that's definitely a candy out there that I really favor.
Okay. All right. Eli.
I'm Eli, and I had a question. What was the lowest temperature you ever faced in the Iditarod?
I would have to say it was last year, Eli. I'd say probably around. It had to be around 55 to 60 below zero is what some people say. So that was we had a camp out. I think we had 2 camp outs. We had some. I think that one run last year was 120 miles. So we went 60 miles camped out, and that one wasn't comfortable at all. So that one, it was one that kind of shivered, but it was good to get moving again. And if you are really cold out there, I could like run along the sled and get moving that way. So it doesn't look like it's big it now as far as like cold temperatures, but it looks like it might be snowy. So it's kind of good and bad. I'd rather not have that much snow out there like right now because it sounds like the trail is really good, but the more snow that we have, the harder the trail is like for the dogs. So it'll be deeper snow for them to work through.
Natasha.
Have you ever had any major or minor injuries on the trail?
I never have. As far as dogs, let me think here. I would say not. Just some minor like wrist injuries, or a dog gets like fatigued, he's tired, or he's not trained up enough for that. I usually some of the younger dogs, if it's their first big race, they're kind of a little confused because they're not used to. They're used to maybe doing like a 200 or 300 mile race, but when you put them in a 1,000-mile race, they're kind of a little bit lost. But everyone I'm taking, I pretty much made my decision a couple days ago. Everyone I'm taking has been on Iditarod before, so nothing should be new to them. And I'm getting excited to see what we could do out there. We got to try to play a little bit conservative from the beginning, so and then we'll give it what we got maybe halfway through.
we're excited about you making your decision because we started our fundraiser kicks off on Monday. We did a little commercial about it today. We've already gotten a lot,
great,
a
great.
lot of positive response, but we need to know. Yeah. Oh, you want to show them what we're selling?
Dogs.
Okay.
I love dogs.
These are the little dogs we're selling.
Yeah, we're selling these little stuffed
Oh,
huskies,
nice.
and the kids they get to order them, and then we're gonna have a little adoption agency where they can, take their little sled dog home, and anyway, that starts Monday. But then we've got to figure out what we're gonna do, who we're gonna sponsor with that money that we make. So we need to know for sure who's gonna be on the team.
This one.
Okay, I'll go through the list of dogs.
Okay.
The 16 that I know are going to be going. It's going to be Hawk, Maple, Brown,
Mine.
Black.
Mine.
Yep. Canyon, Yukon, Grizzly, Kodiak, Slate, Cole, Oak, Aspen, Willow, Cedar. It's funny, I'm calling their names out. They're like looking at me. McKinley and Marble. It should be
Okay.
all 16. If you want to repeat, I can.
They're on their devices. They've been typing, so I think they've got it. But it sounds like the tree litter is well represented this year.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
All right. Okay, what other
The
questions?
tree litter is actually the tree litter actually is from Black and Brown, so that's probably why they're all going.
Yeah. Okay, good. Ellie.
Why did you start doing the Iditarod?
I've always followed it when I was younger, and then I came up, I believe, in 2005 or 2006, and came up to actually see it in person, and that's kind of when I kind of got the bug and helped out my neighbor in 2011, and I started doing some mid-distance 200 and 300 mile races, and it's kind of got hooked on from there. So it's kind of a addicting disease. It really is. It's like once you get involved in it, and you see how much love the dogs have for it, and being out there with the dogs, it's just amazing journey. So it's never in a million years what I thought I would be here. Not only one time running Iditarod, but this is my number 6. So we'll see what we're doing after this Iditarod. So we're always going to be involved in sled dogs, but I'm not sure about we might take next year off, possibly. So.
What? I don't know, Charlie.
No.
We're not sure about that. We might have to do some arm twisting. Okay. All right.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to come for the teachers conference next year. And I just.
Oh, are you really? Okay.
I'm gonna try to, but if you're not gonna be in there, I don't want to come. Okay.
Okay.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Twist.
Yeah, twist. I'm starting twisting early this year, Charlie.
Sure.
Has anything on the trail threatened you, and how do you prepare for it?
Have you ever felt threatened? Yeah.
I would say not really. I guess I don't like the wind. Once we get to the coast and there's a lot of wind, like going, it could be really bad going from Unically to Shaitulik to Koyuk. Pretty much anywhere on the coast after like the 700 mile mark. I don't like wind. So they kind of, I guess I would say that's a little bit of a threat for me because it's difficult for me and it's, the dogs I'm sure are perfectly fine, but I have trouble dealing with it because it's when it's 50 mile an hour winds and you're trying to go down the trail and everything like that. And for me, I don't enjoy it that much, but the dogs always keep moving, so.
All right. What next question? Yes.
Come here, bro.
Do you get new sleds each year?
Do you hear that? Do you get new sleds each year?
Okay, it cut out for a minute. No, I don't. This year I had a new seat made for my sled with the insulated cooler bag on there. So I try to use the same sled. The sled I have now is, it's 6 years old. So I always do some repairs to it every year if some bolts are loose or maybe something's broke or cracked. Usually the sled bag takes the bag that we keep all our gear in. Usually that takes kind of an abuse because you're opening it up all the time and maybe you're hitting some branches as you're going by and stuff. But I try to keep the same sled all the time because I'm comfortable with it and I know how it steers and drives and everything like that. So.
Do you like the snow?
Do I? Yes, I do. Yep. Alaska is great to visit all times of year, but I seem to like the winter obviously more because with the sled dogs and everything.
How did you discover the Iditarod?
I discovered it on. I don't think we didn't have internet. I don't think at our house back then, so it was basically all through the newspapers is when I saw it, or you would watch it on TV. They would have like little clips and stuff, and so I would read stuff. And then when I came up with my dad in '91, we stopped at Iditarod headquarters, and so I kind of learned about it mainly there, coming up, with my father and stuff like that. So it was a good thing, I guess. Got me interested in running dogs.
Matthew?
How do you manage the cold and wind?
Dress really, really good layers. I usually wear 6 layers, so I'm trying out a couple new layers this year, which I hope they work well. We haven't really had like significant, really, really cold temperatures, so I hope they work well out on the trail. They say they're good. So last year I seemed to be kind of cold here and there. So every year you kind of want to try out like different gear and see what works best. But this next couple days here, we're supposed to have some negative 0 temps. So I'm going to try that gear out and see how it works. But layers is usually the best thing because if you're too hot, you can always take one off. If you're cold, then you can throw another one on.
We were 78 degrees here yesterday, Charlie, so we are,
Oh wow!
yeah, it was
That actually-
quite a different
It
environment.
actually sounds pretty nice right now.
I know, are you too cold out there in the kennel? Sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm good now. So.
Okay. Other questions, Madison?
How do you use technology to give you advantages in the Iditarods?
That's a very good question. I guess I would say we use technology maybe like on our feeding program. I kind of switch dog foods around a little bit because it seems to be the stuff I was feeding doesn't seem to be the performance of the dogs don't seem to be lasting as longer as on a different food. So I guess better technology on dog food and supplements. I'm trying a new probiotics this year, which I've never tried before. So it seems to be, from what they say, it's supposed to be better than the older probiotics I were trying in the past. So every year there's new probiotics coming out, new supplements, new dog food. They either change this. Runner plastic is another thing. We have different colors of runner plastic that we change often on our sled. So that's kind of changed throughout the years. They're always coming out with something new. So, and the sleds seem to be getting lighter and handling better. So the technology has really changed the sport quite a bit.
I have a question. I know that I think you get a lot of help before the race, or mushers get a lot of help before the race preparing their dogs and such, but isn't it a rule that when the race begins, like it's all hands off, you can't have any help? Or how does that
Right,
work?
exactly. Yeah, once the race starts, we're pretty much on our own. I mean, if we're at a checkpoint and we need help with our sled, we can ask another musher, to help us, but we can't have like any outside assistance. So let's say if I have a couple friends at Rainy Pass and I need something, they really can't help me. I mean, they can stand there and like watch or talk, but we're pretty much on our own. And I try, like at the beginning of the race, I try not to get any help like booting dogs, because the dogs don't know like the people that are booting them, or they may put the booties on too tight or too loose. So I'm really stubborn. I like to try to do everything on my own, because I think it's just easier, it's easier for me, so when I do have an issue, then it's not like I'm looking for that help. So that's kind of something that pretty much everything I do in life, I'm really stubborn when it comes to that. It's like I get a lot of people like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and I said, no, I'd rather do it on my own. So it's kind of a big learning thing for me, and I love making mistakes because I learn from those mistakes. So yeah, I'm stubborn.
Where have you heard that before, class? That we learn from our mistakes, that if we don't make a mistake a day, then we haven't had a successful day. We learn from those mistakes, okay.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah, Lila.
What kind of training do you and the dogs have to do to prepare for the race?
What kind of training?
What kind of training?
Yeah.
Okay, the training we do, I mean, we start off in the fall time, and we start off on four-wheeler going like maybe 3 or 5 miles. And then as time goes by and the dogs get built up and they get more muscle on them, then we start going longer runs, like 10, 20, 30-mile runs. And when we have enough snow, which we have this year, then we go on dog sled. So I've been on dog sled for quite a while now. 2 weeks ago, I went out on the snow machine with 16 dogs because the trail was really slick and it was safer for me. But right now, like today, we'll probably do. They had a day off yesterday because we had to deworm our dogs. It's a medication that we have to give our dogs prior to Iditarod. So yesterday, everybody had a day off, but today, I'll probably just go maybe 25 miles, I would think, because the trails are going to be a little bit tough today because we had all that snow yesterday. I'm kind of hoping a lot of other teams went out yesterday or this morning, and that'll kind of peck the trail down a little bit. So in the training, basically, I try to train every day except one day. I was training basically 23 dogs pretty much this whole season. So I would run 12 dogs one day, 11 the next. So like I would go every day, but the dogs would get like every other day off. But the last 2 weeks, the same team is pretty much going every day just to kind of get them built up.
What kind of testing and all do the dogs have to go through before the race, like at the vet?
We do, yesterday I had just a actual like oral, like physical on the dogs. So what happened is I had our local vet neighbor. She came out and she listened to all the dogs' hearts, checked them over for everything to make sure that they're physically fit to go, like as far as weight-wise and things like that. Feet, make sure that the dog's feet don't have any cuts on them or anything. And then also on February 14th, we call it a EKG or ECGs and a blood work. So all the dogs get a full panel of blood work, basically like the same that we would if we went to the doctor and we got a blood panel done. Every dog gets it, and then we get the results of that. And then our vet calls, or the head vet for Iditarod, he calls us and says like, dog A, B, or C, has an issue. So either give it like more bone meal or if it needed some medication to get that dog's blood work pretty much up to par. So I have 2 dogs that I have to retest on Sunday. Nothing major, but we want to just do another test. Sometimes when the dogs are so nervous, it kind of spikes some of their blood work. Kind of like if we go into the doctor and our blood pressure's high because, we're nervous to be in there. So, and then let's see, what else did they go through? That's really it. And then we have to give our medications as far as like a kennel cough, a parvo temperament shot, and yesterday was a dewormer. So it's very, very well organized program, and the dogs it's like tip-top shape. So everybody is healthy to go here. So I'm really excited for everybody's health-wise.
Caitlin.
How much does your equipment cost?
Cost of
I
equipment.
didn't hear that one.
How much does the equipment cost?
Oh, a lot of money. Our dog sleds, the ones that I use, they're about $4,000 for one sled, and I have 3 or 4. I have different ones kind of for different races. Some are shorter sleds, some are bigger sleds. They're basically the same design, but a little bit different. And then as far as other equipment, we have like all of our lines for the dogs and harnesses. Everything adds up to be kind of expensive hobby to do, but it's 100% well worth it, and it makes me work harder at my job so then I can come up and afford to do this. So again, it's kind of like a goal. If I know I have to feed dogs and buy things, so it makes me want to work harder so I can, get the supplies that we need for everybody.
Lila.
Who was the oldest dog that races on your team, and how much longer do they race for?
Your oldest racer?
I didn't hear that one.
Your oldest racer that made your Iditarod team, and how much longer do you anticipate that dog will be able to run?
Good question. I have several dogs here, like Yukon Canyon, McKinley, and who else? They're going on 6 years old, and they absolutely love running, but I could kind of see that their performance has slowed down a little bit. And I guess I'm basing it on like the 2 and 3 year olds, because the 2 and 3 year olds are still kind of crazy and tons of energy, and they need to calm down a little bit and get on more of like a steady pace when we run. They want to run crazy all the time because they're young. So the 6 year olds, I think they could still go another couple years, depending on their performance. I most likely will be retiring Canyon this year, and she'll probably become she will become a Holtz dog, possibly this year. So she's kind of been up and down in training, but the last couple of weeks she's really into it. So, and as far as racing, I plan to keep doing races. Depends on Iditarod though, so I got some arm twisting going on, so maybe we'll have to do another couple.
We're gonna work on you, Charlie. Don't.
Okay.
Follow-up question I have about the dogs though is what do you look for? Like I know that mushers breed dogs with racing in mind. What are the characteristics you look for that would make a good Iditarod candidate for a dog?
Good question. I always look for the dog's attitude, their appetite, and how they keep weight on them. And like right now, Brown is in heat right now, so everybody kind of is interested in her. And I kind of want to have another litter, but then I'm dedicating another 8 years or whatever, 10 years of dogs. I'm at 30 right now in the kennel, and I really don't want to go past 30, and I really don't want to place any dogs. It's too hard for me because most of these dogs I've raised from puppies on, and it's litters that, that were born here with me and stuff. So it's kind of it's hard to place dogs, but that's usually what we look for. So it's kind of what I look for. Everybody's got a huge appetite here, and they drink really well and everything. And Yukon and Brown are probably they're the ones that I think were the best litters came out of. I think and Black and Brown, all the tree litter is basically from them. So I don't know which ones exactly, because they had pups 5 days apart. So and they kind of all look the same. So.
Any more questions? And then maybe a little quick tour. What are some of the dogs you're interested in maybe sponsoring? I know
sure.
Grizzly's one I've heard a good bit about. Who else?
Kodiak.
Kodiak and Grizzly. That's
those,
the bear litter, right? Kodiak
yeah, that's Kodiak and Grizzly and Black and Brown. They're from the same litter, even though they look totally different. It's the two females look exactly the same, and Grizzly and Kodiak are pretty similar. So I call Grizzly and Kodiak kind of my class clowns, because they're always goofing around. They always want to play around, and I let everybody loose here in the kennel every day so they can run around. And those are always the last two that I sometimes got to chase to get them. So they're kind of like my little firecrackers in the kennel. So they're great dogs, though. They have just an awesome attitude. But yeah, they're sometimes could be a handful.
All right. Any questions from that we need to get answered? Yes.
Have you ever fallen off your sled?
Have you ever fallen off your sled?
Yes, I have, and it's a good thing to fall off your sled, because it'll make you learn to get up really quick and try not to do it again. So I fell off, I think it was about two weeks ago. The trail was pretty icy, and I kind of knew it was going to happen. When I approached it, I said, I'm probably going to end up on my butt, because I had too many dogs, and I took the corner way too fast, and I went over pretty hard, but the dogs actually listened and they stopped. So I think they knew that we have to have Dad upright so we can continue down the trail. So, but It's always, I'm sure this year it'll happen several times throughout the race because we're going that southern route and we go through a lot of hills and just really a lot of difficult trails. So the more layers you wear, the better it'll be on your bones.
Any other final questions? Lena? On the men's?
About how many hours do you train a week?
Okay, I'll give you guys a little bit of a math question. We usually train anywhere between 5 and 6 hours a day. So I try to go 7 days, but that's with every other team. So, and since there's an odd amount of days, one team is getting run one extra time. So, and it all depends on trail conditions. Like the other day we went on a 50-mile run and I think we were gone for, 5.5 hours. So, and then in between all that, when I finish up here, or I'll feed all the dogs, and that usually takes maybe about 35 minutes, maybe by the time I mix all the food. And then after that, I let everybody loose for a good 20 minutes, and I kind of clean up all the dog yard from the mess that they make. And then everybody gets back on the chain, and then I usually go inside, do some stuff, and then I come out usually 2 hours after I feed, and then I start booting all the dogs, and it takes probably another half hour or so. So you're usually outside a good amount of the day. I'd say probably at least 8 hours, I would say, or longer.
Okay. We're probably going to have to wrap this up. They have to get back to class.
Okay.
But I would like to
Okay.
thank you so much, and we will be following you
Sure.
on the race. And look forward to our follow-up after it's over, after you reach no. We know you'll do it this year.
Yes.
And then a couple of dogs. Yeah, here it is. This looks like
A dog.
This is Kodiak.
Kodiak. Okay.
It is a dog.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Good job, Coach. Oh, great.
One behind you.
All right. And then-
The one behind. I'll show you Grizzly. Come here, Grizz. So this is Grizzly. He's really good dog, and he's kind of a lead dog also. They're all getting kind of crazy right now because they think we're gonna get looped. And then which one? I know you said there was one behind me. Was that Festus maybe or?
Oh, I don't
It's
know.
like Yukon.
All right. Okay, well, I guess, let's see, that, oh yeah, there's a good.
Well, thanks a lot for
One final question too, I know the kids just, didn't really quite understand, I think because it's a race and you enter and they're thinking about winning money, but I was trying to explain to them that actually, probably you put a lot more out than you ever, get back from the Iditarod race, but how do you get, the money that is required for training your dogs and getting yourself ready and prepared? How do you go about that?
a lot of it is on my own. I work a lot of hours in the summertime, like 7 days a week to be able to afford to do this. And then sponsors like you guys doing a fundraiser, independent sponsors and family and friends and stuff like that. So yeah, you really don't get a ton of money from Iditarod or any of the other races, but I figure I try not to add it up, even though because it kept hurt. But I probably spend maybe around either $35,000 a year for dogs and getting meat and all that. It's all expense, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, wait, you kind of went out on that, so we didn't hear it, but maybe that was, it sounded like a lot of money.
Yeah, it's usually about $30,000 to $35,000 a year. It takes to take care of everybody here at the kennel.
Yeah. So you definitely have a love for it. That's what your motive is your love for the dogs and.
Exactly,
So,
yep.
yeah. All right, well, we love
Yep.
you, Charlie, and we thank you so much for your time today. And again, look forward to talking to you when it's over.
Okay,
Good luck.
bye. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good weekend, and we'll look forward to speaking to everybody afterwards. So.
Sounds great, sounds great. Good luck this next week. Stay well, everybody.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Good luck.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I gotta go take my swamp.
Alright.
Mr.
Mr. Stays longer. We have to
You can tell him from Illinois. He said whatnot.
are so late.
Whatnot.